Hey everyone, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a breaking news report coming out from the US, and I've got very good news to share with you guys that it looks like as soon as next week, we could see a major meeting between US President Donald Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and also Russian President Vladimir Putin. And could we possibly see an end to this war as soon as the next week? Take a look at this new report here on your screen. Trump plans three-way meeting with Putin and Zelenskyy next week. This meeting would mark Trump's first direct talks with Putin since returning to the White House and comes as diplomacy stalls and pressure on Ukraine rises. Okay, so this is a very big report just coming out today, and let's see if this happens next week, if these three end up meeting. Ultimately, I'm looking forward to Vladimir Putin meeting face-to-face with Zelenskyy. I'm curious to see what they'll talk about, and let's see if they can actually reach an end to this war. This is a very big move, and at least we are getting some movement on the negotiation side of things when it comes to the war in Ukraine. So I'm going to talk to you guys more about this today. I'll show you the report discussing this, where this information came from. I also have numerous things on X to share with you as well. Let's hop it over here real quick. We're not going to go over this entire article, but I'll show you guys the bulk of it. This is on the New York Times. Trump tells European leaders he intends to meet with Putin and Zelenskyy. President Trump has been stymied for months in his efforts to find a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine after more than 3 years of war. This is coming out today, August 6, 2025. You can see right here. And it says right here, President Trump intends to meet in person with President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia as soon as next week, and he plans to follow up shortly afterward with a meeting between himself, Mr. Putin, and President Volodymyr Zelenskyy of Ukraine, according to two people familiar with the plan. Mr. Trump disclosed his plans in a call with European leaders on Wednesday, the people said. Meetings would only include those three men and would not include any European counterparts. European leaders who have tried to play a coordinating role on meetings to end the violence between Russia and Ukraine while supporting their European neighbor appear to accept what Mr. Trump said, one of the people familiar with the call said. So that's interesting because, we've heard so many times, even from Zelenskyy, he stated that he wants, Europe to be involved in negotiations, especially if we're talking about any kind of end to this war. But allegedly, according to this information, maybe those European leaders on this phone call were okay with Trump and Zelenskyy and Putin only meeting by themselves. So very interesting. It also says here it was not immediately clear if Mr. Putin or Zelenskyy had agreed to the plan Mr. Trump described. But Mr. Zelenskyy was on Mr. Trump's call with European leaders, saying in a statement afterward that he had a conversation with President Trump and that his and European leaders' position was that the war must end, but an honest end. The call also included the leader of the United Kingdom, the German Chancellor, and the NATO Secretary General, along with Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Mr. Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff. Mr. Trump gave some details of the call in a post on his social media site, saying Mr. Witkoff had met for several hours in Russia with Mr. Putin. He did not mention his plans for his own summits. Afterwards, I updated some of our European allies, Mr. Trump wrote on his social media site, True Social. Everyone agrees this war must come to a close, and we will work towards that in the days and weeks to come. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So we did hear that earlier. I showed you guys with our update for the tariffs onto India. My last video that came out today actually showed you guys a post from Trump. He was saying that allegedly this talk today between Steve Witkoff, the special envoy that Trump appointed to negotiate with Vladimir Putin and Russia, apparently this talk today, they spoke for like 3 hours in Moscow. It apparently went very well, is what Trump said, that things went well and they were able to make some progress, is what he was saying. So allegedly, from this information, it's looking like things are moving along really well. So let's talk more about this. Let's hop on over here to X now. I've got a few things to share with you over here. This is from Max25, and it says, Russian market turns green after all insider reports about potential Putin-Trump meeting. Yeah, the stock market started skyrocketing over there in Moscow right after this report was coming out that Trump was going to be meeting with Putin sometime, maybe next week. We'll see if that happens. And also potentially a three-way meeting with Zelenskyy. So there's just kind of like a little picture showing all the different stocks going up inside of Russia today. Now for Max 25 again, Trump told MERS that the conversation between Witkoff and Putin was more productive than expected. This was according to Bild magazine, which is a magazine out of Germany. This is what they were reporting today, that Trump told Friedrich Merz, who is the German chancellor that was on the phone call at the time while they were speaking with Zelenskyy, and allegedly told him that this talk between Witkoff and Putin was much more productive than expected. So that's very interesting. Maybe they weren't expecting it to really go anywhere, but we're still waiting for more details to come out. But it's looking more and more like something got moving here, and maybe we'll see a close end to this war maybe in the next week or two. We'll have to see how things play out. Now from Savchenko Volodymyr, Putin told Witkoff that he would like to meet with Trump at some point. After Witkoff relayed the message, Trump said he was open to meeting as soon as next week if it could lead to an end to the war in Ukraine, according to Fox News today. I think that was Peter Doocy that was actually announcing that on Fox News, if you guys know of him. Apparently, based on what happened today, was when Witkoff met with Putin, Putin reached out to Witkoff and said, hey, let Trump know I'm willing to meet with him. Witkoff let Trump know directly that Putin was willing to hold a meeting with Trump. And then Trump agreed to this and said, maybe we'll set up something next week. So that's very big. And he was interested only if the war was going to come to an end. So let's see what happens here when these two end up meeting next week. If that happens to be the case, looks like something big is coming from this and they might be able to reach a breakthrough in ending this war. You guys can let me know what you think on that. All right, now from Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine. Right on my way from our brigades here in Sumy region, I spoke with President Trump. This conversation happened after President Trump's representative, Steve Witkoff, visited Moscow. Our joint position with our partners is absolutely clear. The war must end, and it must be done honestly. European leaders were on the call, and I'm grateful to each of them for their support. We discussed what was spelled out in Moscow. Ukraine will definitely defend its independence. We all need a lasting and reliable peace. Russia must end the war that it itself started. Thank you to everyone who stands with Ukraine. So interesting statement coming out from Zelenskyy here. So he's coming out saying that the war must come to an end and honestly. So I'm curious to see what is going to unfold with these negotiations because we know that Putin wants to take over these 4 territories in Ukraine that they've currently been fighting for. And for months now, they've been demanding from the Ukrainians to withdraw from these regions. I can't see Russia giving up that territory they've been fighting for inside of Ukraine. So it looks like things will get very interesting as soon as next week. So let me know what you guys think of Zelensky's statement here today. All right, now our final update here from Nexta, and it says Zelenskyy, it seems that Russia is now more inclined toward a ceasefire. The pressure is working on them. Putin is either scared or pretending to be and playing tricks, but in any case, some movement has been announced. The main thing is that they don't deceive us or the U.S. in the details, said the president of Ukraine, commenting on his phone conversation with Donald Trump and European leaders. So as you can see here, it seems like Zelenskyy is trying to be optimistic, but at the same time, realistically speaking, he's concerned that the Russians might not be serious about ending this war. We have seen this in the past where the Russians will claim they want peace, and then 30 minutes later, they start lobbing missiles and drones into Ukraine. So go ahead and take a look at this real quick. It's about 30 seconds long.
Схоже, Росія тепер більше налаштована на припинення вогню. Тиск на них спрацьовує. Але головне, щоб вони не обманули нас в деталях, ані нас, ані Сполучені Штати. І ми запропонували, щоб найближчим часом наші представники України та партнерів, наші радники з питань безпеки говоритимуть, щоб визначити нашу позицію, нашу спільну позицію і наш спільний погляд. Для нас, для України, це дуже важливо. Схоже, Росія...
All right, so as we can see, Volodymyr Zelenskyy here taking a very positive approach towards this, but at the same time being cautious and understanding that the Russians have stated things like this before, like they want peace, but then 30 minutes later start lobbing missiles and drones into Ukraine. So let's see what comes from this next week if we happen to have this meeting between these 3 leaders here. And could we possibly see an end to the war? You guys let me know what you think is going to happen. But that's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.